What's up, Rad fam? How y'all doing today? I hope you're doing fantastic. Welcome back to another spooky spooky video. Today's gonna be a little bit different. I love Reddit. I go on it on the daily. I especially love reading scary AskReddit threads. Just something about it, just it seeps down into like your bones and it's spooky. And if you know me, or if you've been around for a minute, you already know this because over my old channel that I don't post on anymore, I did this exclusively. And over the months, a few of you have reached out to me on Instagram and Twitter asking me if I'd ever do this again. And I was kind of hesitant because I didn't know if you guys would want to see that over here, though I enjoyed it a lot when I made those videos, and I still do it on the daily, just not recording it. So I thought, okay, let's do it. Okay, let's do it. So that's what we're doing today. We're just gonna have some fun. We're gonna read some spooky stories. Yeah. So prepare yourself. Turn off the lights, I guess, if you want it to be extra spooky. Which don't we all? I think we do. Yeah, and if you guys do like this video, let me know down below and I'll do more of them. But if this isn't your thing, that's okay too. We're just gonna have fun today. Okay. So the question asked is, people of Reddit who work in haunted hotels, what are your stories? And that just sounds like a good dose of nightmare fuel, doesn't it? Just the idea of staying at a haunted hotel, let alone working at one, where you have to go back repeatedly, Wouldn't catch me there. Now, if you're unfamiliar with these creepy Ask Reddit threads, everything said is under the assumption that it is true and has actually happened. So just for the sake of enjoying a good spooky story, we're gonna go in with thinking that everything is legit. So now let's move on to the first story. Get on my spooky story voice. Haven't used that in a while. I worked as a housekeeper at a haunted hotel for about a year. There's many stories I could tell, but there was this one room that messed me up mentally for months. Still have nightmares about it till today. That sucks. So the hotel is a grade 2 listed building, a manor house that was converted into a hotel. I feel like those are always gonna have the scary stories because they're like really old, and really old things just have more potential for people to have turned into ghosts in them. You feel me? It's said that the family who built and lived there had their bedrooms where room 1 and 2 and now 3 are. The rooms are out of the way and down a dark corridor, which gives them an eerie feeling, but they're decent rooms. Number 2 is one of the biggest and most luxurious rooms to stay in, because the ghost wants to tempt ya. However, it's rumored that when the house was being converted, that the builders found a skeleton of a child in the fireplace. The fireplace that's still in that room. Oh hell no. No. Little girl ghost, little kid ghost. That's like way scarier than an adult ghost. I don't know why, but like horror movies have made me feel that way. Maybe because like they're smaller so they can hide more places, or it's just more tragic because they were children. The room opens up to a long corridor, the bathroom on the left, and a super king bed in a huge living area looking over the gardens. Sounds very nice. Still wouldn't use it. I never felt right in there, but things got worse a few months in when I started having nightmares that I was being chased down the room's corridor. What? I had never seen what was chasing me, but I had been filled with the feeling of terror. The corridor would just keep going for what seemed like forever, but when I'd reach the door, there would be no handle. So there was no escaping. No. Hell no. Oh my god, that sounds way worse than my paralysis demon. I had that dream every night for months. My teeth got damaged from all the grinding, and I was so exhausted I could barely do the job. Well, one, that sounds horrible, and for your mental health wellness, I'm very happy that you no longer work there, because no one should have to put up with that. But going back to the story, yeah, that's terrifying. That's creepy. Because not only are you scared while you're at work, now that work is coming home with you, and you're not getting paid to be scared. So that makes it so much worse. I had a few rooms on the floor that I was uncomfortable with being in alone. That's starting off real great. I feel great about this. We weren't allowed to turn on the TVs, but I didn't care. Why were you not allowed to turn on the TVs? In those rooms, the TV absolutely had to be on, and on Comedy Central to keep me entertained. That's smart. I do that too. You know, when you're like home alone and you start like getting a little paranoid that you're home alone, like maybe like something's like there with you, and you like turn on all the TVs in your house and like turn up the volume so then like you're less scared. Something comforting about like the noise, which it shouldn't be though, because then like things could be hiding underneath that noise. Okay, that's making me rethink it, but it's comforting in the moment, so. I figured out early on while working my floor which rooms were different. flickering lights, cold spots, that feeling you get when someone is standing right behind you, but actually, the creepiest one is the feeling of someone's face being right in front of yours. What? No. You have me messed up if you think I would work somewhere where I felt like there was an invisible face right in front of mine. No. Refuse. But if you have to make that coin, you have to make that coin. So sometimes you just like have to. Because at least if it's like one big scary event, it's like one big scary event. And then it's like nothing else. But if it's like little things each shift or every other shift, like enough to make you feel like paranoid, but like not enough for you to like up and quit, you know, because you don't want to like overreact. Oh, I feel like that's worse. Right? A hotel I worked at had plenty of activity that was mostly experienced by staff. I feel so bad for the staff. I only encountered one guest that had experienced something, but after asking me if the place was haunted and looking very shook up about something too, she walked away without clarifying. All right, ominous, spooky, that would mess me up for the shift. Staff routinely dealt with footsteps behind them. That's so awful. I would put headphones in or something. If the ghost is gonna get me, it's gonna get me. At least I'm not gonna be scared until the moment of. Things vanishing from carts, objects moving by themselves. Oh, just the idea of like your cleaning cart moving down the hallway. Okay. Voices in empty rooms that stopped when they went in. Voices calling out to them when they were alone. Oh God. See, that's like the kind of scary-ish that like you would play off, right? You try to like brush it off. You'd be like, no, I was just hearing things. It was somebody down the hall who has a similar name or has the same name as me. The voices traveled because of the events. You know what I mean? Like you'd make up every excuse in the book not to like have to confront the possibility of something scary knowing your name. That gives me goosebumps. Oh, it's the little scary things that creep me out so much. Splashing in the pool when no one was there. The sound, oh God, that would be, okay. The sound of fingers tapping on the front desk when no guests were around. Oh God, that gives me goosebumps. An unwelcome vibe in the empty ballroom. It's always the ballroom. Elevators that moved by themselves, unexplainable noises, shadows in the windows and empty rooms, and apparitions. So many apparitions, whatever, ghosts, scary things. Whenever we had a new hire, we'd take bets on when their first sighting would be and just who it would be. Would it be the farmer in blue overalls, the young guy in black jeans and black button-down shirt, the older lady in business attire? Fun times. To like normalize those creepy paranormal events. That just meant like how frequently they must have happened and how they must have happened to everybody for people to like make bets and joke about it. But it's the little things, the tapping on a desk, so slight, like you just almost wouldn't believe it unless somebody else experienced it too. You'd almost think it's like a rat underneath the desk or something, right? No, sir. My grandmother worked as a nighttime cleaning lady for an old historical hotel in the 1980s. The place was starting to show its age, with its prime glory days being the 1890s through the 1920s. So this place was hella old. During Prohibition, there had been a speakeasy in the basement only the movers and shakers in town had been able to get into. Anyway, there was a man that she saw several times, a figure other people had seen as well. All right? The earliest sightings started in at least the 1960s. Can you imagine seeing something like for 20 years? Well, then it can't just be like a guest that like you forgot, or like a guest that like kind of resembles another. Oh, okay. That's persistent. Each floor, the elevator was at the end of a long straight hallway. God, I hate hallways. On the third, there were times when people would come out of a room and see a man in a long coat and hat carrying a small dog under his arm, either heading towards the elevator and disappearing, or they would catch a glimpse of him on the elevator as the doors closed. I don't know why, but that sent a shiver down my spine. The idea of like the doors just like you just see and then like right as the doors close, creepy ghost, creepy old man ghost. Nobody really knew who he was supposed to be. It wasn't the original owner, not one of the staff anyone could remember at least. No one was really scared of him either. It was sort of a rite of passage working there to finally see him. Okay, in a work environment like that, it would be better, but How could you just be okay with like this one lone ghost that people just happen to catch glimpses of for the last 2 decades? And are people still seeing him now to this day? That ghost would actually like make me very curious about the history of the place. I feel like I'd go to like the local library and like try to look through all the archived papers to try to like figure something out. I feel like that's a really good mystery. Now this last story that we're going to cover today is a little bit of a long one, so buckle up. I worked in a hotel that a lot of the employees thought was haunted. Everyone had stories, but this one happened to me. Oh, lots of stories. Okay, I would like to hear more stories. I already know it. We were finishing up a big event on Halloween, and we were of course that's on Halloween. Of course, that is perfect. We were in the back of the hotel putting away tables and chairs. There were 3 or 4 of us back there. The hotel was next to a large apartment building, so there was an alleyway in which we could, for the most part, see just about everything that would come up or down it. There were really no way to get to the alley unseen, but it was maybe 3 feet below the parking lot where we were standing. There was maybe a 3-foot tall metal fence before the alleyway, and the only thing blocking any portion of the alleyway view was a tree in a medium-sized generator. Okay, that's a lot of information to take in. So basically, it's a cramped alleyway where they're from, they can pretty much see. So you see what they're setting up. Okay, so we're putting away the tables and we look to our left and see what looks like a homeless lady walking very slowly in front of us, entering our view from the left. She was wearing pink Uggs, okay, less scary, and like a dirty old skirt that went down to her knees. The weird part is that no one saw her face because she was holding up a blanket around her head. Okay, where are we going with this? We were a pretty upscale hotel and weren't supposed to let homeless people wander around our parking lot, but for some reason none of us said a word. We were silent watching her slowly walk past us. That like creeps me out. Why are you guys so captivated by her? Just let her do her thing, let her walk away. She eventually veers to her left and goes behind the generator. Maybe 15 to 30 seconds later, the valet manager comes from where she walked from with his flashlight and looked at us and goes, "Where did she go?" We point to the generator and he goes over there to look. We expected her to be behind there because it was literally 30 seconds at most since she had gone there. 30 seconds at most, people. It's not long, it's not enough time to like just vanish. The only places she could have been were behind the generator, up the tree. That's a scary idea for some reason, like an old lady just like going up a tree really fast. Okay. Or crouched behind the little bit of wall which makes up the 3-foot height difference between our parking lot and the alleyway. But she was gone. Completely disappeared. She would have had to run at least a 4.3 40-yard dash while crouched below 3 feet. That's a terrifying idea. And make no noise to be able to sprint out of there without any of us seeing or hearing her run. Nothing. We checked everywhere and she was nowhere to be found. So she wasn't up in that tree, y'all. Where'd she go? We were flabbergasted. It was impossible, and there were 5 grown men who witnessed it. I usually walked or rode my bike to work, so I was pretty familiar with most of the homeless people who congregated in the area, and I had never seen anyone like that, or ever saw anyone like that ever again. It's not a very scary ghost story, but I am a very practical person and don't believe in ghosts. But this was the most unexplainable occurrence I had ever had. That's what I'm saying, yo. When you have like a scary experience and you don't even believe in ghosts yourself, that's some scary-ish. The idea of like an old lady though, crouching and like scurrying, I imagine like on all 4, that's like a horror movie moment. That would have me messed up. That would have me messed up. That would have me quitting on the spot. Which one of these gave you like the most chills? Which one do you think will plague your nightmares tonight? Or none? Do you have a scarier story? And if so, leave it down below in the comments. And until next time, keep it the radness, and I hope to see you again real soon. Deuces. And try to remember, if you're like in a scary paranormal situation, there's nothing wrong with just running and screaming away. There's no such thing as being a coward when there's a ghost. Just saying.